Hello and welcome to IndianMoney.com's YouTube channel. My name is Fayaz. Many times it happens that we feel, you know what, I would have been in a much more better job. I would have been in a much more better place. I would have maybe made a lot of more money if at all I had any kind of talent. It can be the talent of singing, dancing, maybe cricket, maybe hip hop, maybe acting, maybe direction, or maybe the talent of becoming an entrepreneur. But what if I tell you that even if you do not have any kind of talent in your life, but if you have these skills that I will be talking about today, you can actually make a lot more money, you can become a lot more famous, you can also become a lot more prosperous, and you'll also eventually become a lot more happy and content in your life. So without a further ado, let's get to the point. The number one thing that requires absolutely zero talent is the skill of being on time. If at all someone is basically expecting you to be at particular place at say around 10 o'clock, maybe it can be your HR, maybe it can be a meeting that you have maybe tomorrow morning. If at all someone asks you to, be at that particular place at 10 o'clock, then you should somehow try and be in that particular place by 9:45. That's the best that you can do for yourself, because that will create a very good impression. Also, you'll be much more prepared. If at all someone has asked you to be at 10 o'clock and if at all you reach there at 10, maybe you might not be in the most best possible shape of your body. Maybe you might have traveled the entire distance, and if the distance is way too much from your home, then you might be a little tired. You might not be looking the best that you can look, and you might not also be able to use the restroom probably to fix your hair or to fix your dress. So it's extremely important that you reach in that particular place wherever you have to go, maybe a little before than the desired time, because you will be also have some particular buffer time with you which you can probably use to fix your stuff, and also it will also help you to reduce your heartbeat or maybe your nervousness, because if at all you reach that particular place a little early than the expected time, you will be able to get the vibe of that place. You'll be able to relax a little bit, and maybe you'll be able to deliver your particular stuff in a much more confident manner. It can be your interview, it can be a business meeting, it can be a presentation, and eventually you will create a very good impression for that particular person also, because that particular person will think that, okay, this particular guy, I had asked him, Fayaz, to be in that particular place at say around 10 o'clock, and he has somehow reached there before 10, which means this guy respects time, he respects my time, he respects his time as well, and this is the kind of guy that I want to work with, I want to do my business with, or maybe I want to give this job to, and eventually you will become a much more successful and a prosperous person because of this simple skill. The next thing that requires absolutely zero talent is the skill of having passion. So whatever you're doing, do it with 100% dedication, do it with a lot of love and with a lot of pure intent, because if at all you're not doing it with your 100% effort, if at all you're doing things half-heartedly, it will reflect on your productivity, it will reflect on your end result, it will reflect on your product, and that will not fetch you a lot more money, it will not fetch you a lot more customers, it will not fetch you a lot more clients, and your business, your career will not grow that much. So it's extremely important that you be 100% passionate, even if people are not noticing it initially, but if you maintain your passion, eventually in the long run, you'll be able to be very, very prosperous with this single skill that you have developed. The next skill which requires absolutely zero talent is the skill of listening. Yes, there's a very, very popular saying that if at all you want to become a good speaker, you have to be a good listener. And many times it happens that whenever we are listening to something, it can be listening to the right kind of music, it can be listening to the right kind of podcast, it can be listening to the right kind of people. It maybe there might be 3 or 4 friends of yours who are like very talkative, or who are sharing some very interesting experiences, or maybe they're talking about some very interesting topics. And if at all you do not interrupt them, and if at all you just listen to them, 2 things will happen over here. Number one, they'll start liking you. They'll think that, okay, Fayaz is a very good listener. I want to talk to him more because he listens to all my stories, and people always like to talk to people who listen to them. So this will create a very good impression, first of all, and second, you will learn something new, and maybe you can take this particular information that you have gathered from here and maybe reflect it somewhere else, and you might be able to create a very good impression in that particular place, because they will think that Fayaz is so skilled, Fayaz is so talented, he knows about rocket science, he knows about aliens, he knows about maybe geothermal energy, he knows about Tesla, he knows about so many interesting things. But the truth is that you learned these particular things by just listening to one person who you spoke to maybe 2-3 weeks back. So this particular skill is extremely important, and if at all you are able to somehow remember things what the other person is saying, this will help you to make a lot more money and to become a lot more famous and prosperous in the long run. The fourth skill that requires zero talent is the skill of having a very good body language. Many times it happens that whenever we are going out to meet someone, maybe we are not dressed very well, but if at all you're wearing the right kind of attitude, it will radiate, it will reflect, and that will create a very good and a positive impression to the other person. It can be your client, it can be your friend, it can be your boss, it can be your HR, it can be maybe your customer. So if at all you have a very positive language and positive body language and a positive personality, if at all you're radiating that energy, definitely it will reflect on your entire existence, on your entire body, and also it will create a very, very positive and a soothing impression for the other person also, and that particular person also will try and spend more of his time with you. It can be your customer, it can be your client, it can be your business partner, it can be your bosses, it can be the HR, it can be anybody. So it's extremely important to be happy, to radiate happiness, and most importantly, to radiate positivity. Nobody wants to hang out with a person who is cribbing all the time. Nobody wants to hang out with a person who is extremely unhappy, who's crying, and who's a negative person. Be a positive person, have a positive body language, and eventually you will go places with that particular attitude. The fifth skill, which requires zero talent, is the skill of being prepared. So what do I mean by that? Being prepared for anything, being prepared for what is adversities, being prepared for the meeting, being prepared for your important client meeting that you have maybe tomorrow morning. If at all you have to go somewhere, maybe say tomorrow morning very early you have to leave because you have to reach that particular place at say around 8 o'clock, and that place is like say maybe 20 kilometers away from your place. So you need to make sure that you are getting all your things ready a day and maybe a night before, because maybe tomorrow morning you might not be able to find the right kind of fuel station on the way. Maybe your bike might not be in a very good condition. Maybe your dress is not prepared. Maybe you might be thinking that, you know what, I'll iron my clothes tomorrow morning. But what if the power goes off tomorrow morning? So it's extremely important that you get all your things ready a night before itself. It can be your documents, it can be your dress, it can be your vehicle, it can be all the other things that you have to basically carry with you in order to present your things at the particular event or the meeting or maybe the client meet where you're going. It can be a presentation, it can be a business meet, it can be a customer, it can be whatever. So it's extremely important that to be prepared, especially prepare a day before and a night before the meeting, because that's what a lot of successful entrepreneurs also do. They are able to utilize their time very well, and they are prepared for all possible adversities because they have already done their preparation and their homework a day before that particular event. And last but definitely not the least, the skill that requires absolutely zero talent is the skill of giving effort. Whatever you're doing, do it with 100% intent, do it with a lot of love, do it with a lot of passion, do it with a lot of a positive attitude, because that is what going to take you forward in the long run. Because if at all you're not doing things completely with honesty, with maybe with a half-hearted attitude, then it will reflect in your end result, it will reflect in your end product, and you'll not be able to gather more customers, you'll not be able to gather more clients, you'll not be able to gather more business, and you'll eventually not be able to make more money also. So it's extremely important that you do your thing with 100% effort, because your efforts will never go on waste. Your efforts will always fetch you a lot of revenue, a lot of positivity, and a lot of promising new clients as well, if at all you are doing your efforts with a lot of dedication and with 100% integrity and honesty. So if you found this video informative, please do share it with your friends and family. And if at all you have any feedbacks for us or any topic suggestions, leave that in the comment section. And if at all you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an update. And also if you want to learn more about career building, personal finance, business and farming, you can download the Financial Freedom app. The link of this app is provided in the description box. My name is Fayaz and you're watching IndianMoney.com.